what's up, everybody? Daniel Kaiser for GameTrailers.com here at E3 2010, joined now by Cliff Bleszinski. You are at the Microsoft press conference, of course, talking about Gears of War 3. Thanks for joining us here to personally demo Gears of War 3.
It's a pleasure to be here. I was almost late because I was over checking out the Nintendo 3DS, actually.
Was it awesome?
It's actually really good, and it's the kind of 3D I want. I don't want to wear glasses, so anyway, enough.
There you go.
Let's
Gears
talk
of
about
War
Gears,
3.
man.
Let's get our personal walkthrough of the demo, which got a great reaction at the show, by the way. Congrats on that.
Yeah, we figured 4-player co-op was kind of a nice, risky way to show off the game, right? So.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're looking at it's been about 18 months since the events of Gears of War 2. The COG, Marcus and co have sunk Jacinto, and now we have a new threat known as the Lambent who've risen up. This is a sequence when Marcus and co are going to this location known as Anvil Gate, and their truck is ambushed. Marcus is waking up after the crash, and all hell breaks loose. It turns into a three-way fight between the stranded human, the savage locust, who are ripping the arms off people and beating them to death with them, as well as the mutating Lambent threat, which are born of the emulsion energy source. What we have right here is a bayonet charge with the Pendulum Arrow Lancer. You gotta kind of run in from about 10 or 15 feet out. Then you're gonna see one of the NPCs who has an unfortunate ending right here, whereas we have the Digger Launcher. It's kind of a Bugs Bunny underground grenade that pops up, pops his head. We gotta avoid that one and figure out a way to get over there and take him out. Boomers, as you know, have a lot of health, right? So we could sit there and wear him down with bullets, or we could climb into cover, we could zip over and kick this guy down, take him as a meat bag, shoot him a couple times, stick a grenade to his head, and kick him into the boomer, which pops everybody, and then, unfortunately, I think knock Cole down. We want to have greater co-op interactions this time around, so not only can you revive your friends, but you can exchange weapons. Right there from Anya, I got a Lancer. You can exchange ammo as well. So I mentioned we have the Locust. They're right there. They're savage, but the new threat pops out. These are the Drudges and the Lambent. They come from these stalks that are kind of like organic trees. The pods kind of fall off when they land. These enemies also explode upon death, by the way, which is very important to keep in mind when you're taking them out.
Absolutely.
There's a lot going on.
The level of intensity here is insane.
Oh, that savage Locust just got torn in half. And then that was when Rod is getting torched right there by the Lambent Drudge. Funny thing about some of these Lambent is when they mutate, they wind up leaving like their head behind. So it's this like snake that's going around like a snake in the grass. You have to take that out too. Latest Unreal Engine, it's far more lush than it's ever been.
Right.
We've refactored the lighting with global illumination, so everything looks amazing. The colors pop a lot better than previous games. A lot more depth-based animation in regards to vertex animation, so we can kind of have tarps everywhere that look animated. We can have things bobbing in the water. We can have enemies that mutate. It's a lot more of a dynamic type of animation system now.
And talk a little bit about how the 4-player co-op really impacts the battlefield and what's happening, and also your level design. Thinking of that.
Absolutely. In Gears 2, the game was very, very linear. It was kind of like these finely carved paths. We want to get back to what we call more of a bowl-based game design. Some more wide open areas, more elbow room, more flanking opportunities, more chances for players to pinch their foes. Here's another mutated Drudge right here. He's got the multiple arms, and he spawns these creatures called polyps out of his base. And then we have some nice God beams with the latest engine. You can see it kind of poking through the sky right there. And then the bigger, scarier threat shows up, which is the return of the Berserker, which was one of the most favorite creatures that everybody loves about the series. She's back, she's mutated, she's angrier than ever, and more importantly, she can jump, so you better watch your butt.
Wow. How do you continue to raise the bar and amp with this? I mean, is there a certain level? I mean, you're crossing the line all the time with the level of intensity. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, you have to be careful. If you're at 11 all the time, you can't keep it at 11. Yeah. It's kind of like, you ever have a friend who swears all the time or yells all the time?
No.
You eventually start tuning them out, right?
Yeah.
Well, I do at least. And so, I mean, Berserker's going mad here. So it's one of those situations you have to be careful with your pacing, you have to be careful with your intensity, and make sure that you, have peaks and valleys like anything else.
Absolutely.
Firing!
So anyway, it takes a couple minutes to take her out. The Hammer of Dawn comes in. She chases everybody down, but I think we have some footage of Beast Mode we want to show you right here.
Absolutely. Now, Beast Mode you talked about during the Microsoft press conference, but we haven't seen it yet on Game Trailers, so you're going to showcase that for us right now.
That was the great thing, was that I was like, yeah, we have a new mode called Beast, and everybody's like, what is that?
What now?
Yeah, so, I mean,
so tell us about it.
Let them wonder for a day and then bring in the news, right? It's a mode that sounds a lot like what it is. It's your ability to finally control all of these locust creatures, all the way from the smallest ticker, who's like a suicide bomber, through the boomers, who are the kind of the tanks of the Locust army, all the way to the Berserker, who is nearly blind, but is kind of like a freight train going in and stomping on all the poor COG soldiers. It's up to 5 players on Xbox Live, and it's kind of a round-based mode, whereas you play as these different classes of all these creatures. It's a lot of fun. We've had a tremendous amount of fun. You can play as the Wretches, who kind of walk up, swipe people down. What winds up happening here is you have this kind of like symbiotic relationship between the various creatures, right? The shield boomer goes in and the tickers follow him and to use him as cover. You have the Cantus who can revive guys, brings them back into battle as a medic, right? So everybody works together in order to take out all those pesky humans who've been troubling those poor locusts the entire time.
Now, is this something that was created out of fan feedback, or did you come up with this idea on your own?
A lot of it was Lee Perry, who's our senior gameplay designer. One day he's like, hey, it would be great if we could just kind of switch the camera around and kind of play as these creatures. And lo and behold, half of it just worked. And from there came a lot of the other work, whereas we had to give them unique modes, give them like the ability to run fast for the boomers, made sure everything works with the proper cameras. Oh, here's the Cantus reviving other locusts in battle, acting as a medic class. It's the funny thing about class-based gameplay is if you ask every person what their favorite creature is, what their favorite style of play is, you're going to get a different answer with every person, because that's the beauty of it.
Right. Now tell us again the characters that are featured in Beast Mode.
So what we're showing at E3 is the Ticker, the Wretch, the Butcher Boomer, the regular Grenadier from the Locust, the Cantus, the Armored Cantus, the Locust Centipede, which nobody's seen yet. It's kind of a giant centipede that has electricity on it, as well as the Berserker. We also, we have the Shield Boomer and the Grinder Boomer and the Digger Boomer as well. There's a really good selection. You can come by and check it out at the Microsoft booth.
Awesome, and there are to be more to be expected, possibly revealed later, closer towards launch?
The Locust Army has a lot of monsters, and we haven't even gotten to talking about what we're going to be doing with Horde soon.
Absolutely. All right, well, we appreciate your time coming here to the GT stage. Have a great E3.
It's great to be here, man.